Now I am not gonna lie to you folks. Whoever wired this light was more shade tree than I ever dreamed of being. Good morning, YouTubers! This is not going to be a car video. Sorry. I have, and you probably can see one. Yep, it's right there. You can see that right behind my head there. It's a fluorescent light. And I've got them all around the shop, all along the outside wall, probably 5-6 feet apart, if that. They're 8-footers. As you can see it, yep, see it right here? Right there. Anyway, behind there. Yeah, easier to point this way. Right there. Anyhow, I'm going to hook them up. They have been up there years, right? I put them up there like years ago. And I thought to myself today, I'm hoping I don't want to put a flat tappet camshaft in the Javelin's supercharged 400. I just don't want to do it. I've got one. And I've got some issues that I got to deal with before I go spending $800 on a cam, because my engine shop told me that because I went with 5.7 rods in a 400 small block, it is possible. Something looks like it's in my face here. I don't know. But anyway, he said I might have to go with a small base circle camshaft, which that just sounds expensive. What is that? What the heck? Oh! It's a bug on the screen. Okay. Anyway, yeah, you can't see that, but it looks like I got something on my here on my face. But anyhow, forget that. It's just me being weird. All right, but I'm gonna hook up those lights. I'm just gonna run the wiring, and just gonna rough it for now, and we'll see just how far I get. If I get far enough, I'm gonna go ahead and hook them up, and then we'll put some bulbs in them and see if they actually work. Imagine that. So that's going to be the video for today, but we're going to start off just by opening these boxes, because it's like Christmas, right? I love Christmas. So we're going to just open the boxes, kind of enjoy the whole atmosphere. It's like getting an order when you order a big order from some car place or Amazon or wherever, and then you open it up. It's always fun, right? So I'm going to share that with you, and then we're going to go ahead and get started on hooking up some of these lights. I emptied all the cars out of here so that I can get to it, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to get maybe 3 or 4 of them, because it's kind of dark on that side of the shop, and get those hooked up, and then I'm actually going to hook them up, so that I can at least get half of them working, and we'll worry about the other half later, because it's pretty bright on this end of things. So, but I want to get that dark side, not being the dark side. So basically that's what we're going to do. Hang with me. Let's get her done. We interrupt this programming to tell you that this whole introduction was only half right. When I did the introduction, I was thinking I'm going to go ahead and do the video on my new parts. And then, in addition to that, I'm going to go ahead and do the lights. So, I changed my mind. I ended up making, and I'm going to try to split the introduction, right? Because I thought it was a good one. But it's going to be a little hokey. That's why I'm doing this. This is actually going to be the video on doing the lights. I decided that the parts that this gentleman sent me deserved its own video, period. Just its own video. This guy took his time, his parts, his labor to take the parts off the car, put them in boxes, run them down to the post office, and ship them to me. Who would do such a thing, right? And he gave me a brand new set of conversion motor mounts to put put a Chevrolet motor in an AMX, or in a AMC period. What kind of person does that? In my opinion, that kind of person deserves some recognition. A guy nice enough to go take his own time, his own money, his own effort, to give something to somebody to help somebody out. That's huge. That's huge in my opinion. Okay? So, in my opinion, he deserved an entire video on his own, and I'm calling his video, because he does videos too. He's a YouTuber. So that fellow YouTuber, in my opinion, deserves to be patronized. Is that a proper word, patronized? In other words, show him, watch his videos, right? Buy his stuff. He sells those motor mounts. Buy his stuff. Good guy. Evidently got a huge heart, likes helping people. Told me he sends stuff to people all the time. So that's why I decided that I did the whole video on just that. And then now I am going to go, and so you'll have to go look at that video to see what I'm talking about. So I'm just going to I'm going to hook up some lights. Basically, I'm going to run some, I've already hung the lights. And that's hanging lights. That's not hard. A couple of screws, But I'm going to go ahead and run the wiring and then hook them up. I'm going to start with this end of the shop. I'm going to hook them into one of my lights that's already working. And that way it makes it easy, and I don't have to disconnect a whole bunch of stuff. I can just leave the switch off. As long as nobody turns it on, I'll be fine. And just hook it into that wiring and then just run the wires. And then we'll get that done. I'm going to do about half the shop. I'm going to try to do half the shop today. And that way I can hook them up and get them working for tomorrow. And then I got another project for tomorrow. So that's all that's going to get done for today. I'm not going to have time to run all the lights in the whole shop, because that's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 lights. And one guy, it's already getting fairly late in the day. I had to do some other stuff. Had some customers stop by. I had to sell some parts. Had a lady stop by, and we're going to do that video tomorrow. I got to fix her car tomorrow. And so I've been busy all morning. Been going. But now I'm going to try to get these lights hooked up. I'm going to do my best, because they're up there, and the camera's down here. And I'm going to try to figure a way to hook the camera in so you can see how I hook up the ballasts and all that. I think I'm not doing that one though yet. I'm starting with that one. I'll figure it out. I think I've got a clampy. Well, I'll figure it out. But stay with me. This is going to be an improving the shop video. How to hook up your fluorescent lighting, which I know is obsolete. Everything's LED now. What are you going to do? That's what I got. I got them for free. I'm not going to argue. I don't even know if they work. That'd be a bummer if they don't work. Some of them will, some won't. Because to buy a ballast for them is it's almost cheaper to just buy a whole light. So, but then you're going to hang a whole light again, so it's still better to buy the ballast. Easier. But anyway, that's going to get started. So I'm going to do 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to try to get 5 of them hooked up today. I'm going to skip one, because right now I've got parts on a shelf that are stacked up and covering it. So I don't see any point in even turning that one on, because it's not going to help me out. So I'm just going to skip on over it and try to get the next one in line, and I'm going to stop there and then start hooking them up. If I get that far, sure, I'm hoping. Ladders in this shop, I don't know. Here, let me give you a little look-see. There's my workbench. You're familiar with it. And you go up. That's the light I'm going to hook into, because it's one light on a whole circuit. You go up. There's another one there. Another one there. Another one there. Another one there. That's the one I'm talking about that's got a bunch of parts in front of it. It's just not worth doing because there's too many parts in front of it. Let me see if I can get a better look at it. Here we go. It's right there. You can only see half of it. The rest of it's covered in parts. So I'm not going to bother hooking that one up just yet, but I am going to try to get to that one. Because That one's right over my toolboxes, and I really could use some more light there. And if things allow, we might get to that one down the end. But that's basically what we're up against. And I gotta stop talking about it because otherwise I'll never get it done. Things are a little closer than I planned, but basically I hope it's not too terribly blurry. All I'm going to do to hook it up is I'm going to take the wire, it's Romex, what they call Romex, and I'm going to take, not that one, putting my tools up here, I'll leave them up here and forget them forever, and you're just going to cut this wire right down the center, like this. Oops. Watch the fingers. Jeepers, it doesn't want to cooperate because I'm trying to work too close here. Alright. Now you put your knife up out of the way. Then you split the insulation away. There we go. Just kind of take this paper out of the way. Pull all these wires apart. There we go. Peel all that back. If you want to, you don't have to, but you can cut the old insulation away. You got to get yourself some wire strippers, no different than a car. And just strip the ends. Alright. Then you take the wire nut that is in your pocket, and you take the wires that are coming off the light, which there's one and it's white. So you're going to do white with white. Pretty easy, right? So white with white, and then you just kind of put your wire nut on there. You can see that. I have to do some video magic because my camera's upside down right now. There you go, that one's on. And you take your black and your black. Do the same thing with a wire nut. Oops, got to get them both in there. Here we go. Oops, I forgot. Almost forgot. There's a... oh no, yeah. Well, wait a minute. Which one did I give them? There we go. Almost messed up there. Got to take this. I forgot. I've got the other lights hooked up already. So I got to do the same thing with this wire. So I got ahead of myself there. I forgot that I had all the other lights hooked into this one. So, oops, hit the camera. Alright, so we're going to do the same thing with this one. Strip it down. Or strip it back, I guess would be the proper term. Get rid of the paper. I've already grounded these. These are the ground wire. The third wire is just a bare copper wire. I've already grounded those with in another light. And so I'm just going to twist those together on this one. My battery died on my camera, so I kind of missed being able to video all the other lights that I've hooked up. This is the last one actually. And so I'm going to go ahead and same thing. You take these off. Put add this one to it. And just put that wire nut on there. It's nice and tight. You can't torque it too much because you'll rip it out, but you could put a pretty good, you want to get her on there so she ain't coming off, so don't be afraid to put a little mustard on it, Alright, and those two are together nicey nice, so we'll just put this third one in there. Here we go. And that hooks all the lights together. My camera's doing funky things. Alright, oh yeah, now you're going to take these two copper ones, and I'm just going to twist them together. Now, I'm not saying this is to code, folks. I'm not a licensed electrician. I'm just a backyard electrician, just like I'm a backyard mechanic. So, don't take this for law, but if you just want to add a couple of lights to your shop, and you're not going to have a licensed electrician come in and do it for you, well, this will get you by. Alright, and it won't set your shop on fire. Now the last thing is just to put power to it, so hang on. Now I am not gonna lie to you folks. Whoever wired this light was more shade tree than I ever dreamed of being. That mess right there should be inside the light. Okay? Since it is a metal building and it's not near anything flammable, it's not horrible, okay? But why he didn't put that inside the light, I don't know. But he's got a hole right there, but it's against the board. And I'm not, because it's live, even though I've got the switch off right now, I'm not going to mess with it. I'm just going to go ahead and hook into it the way it is. So that makes me just as shade tree as the last guy. Okay, guilty as charged. I should put a, technically, there should be a box. And technically all of these lights should have covers on. Okay, which we have none of the above. So I've got the switch off, otherwise these would be hot and I'd be having some serious issues. I'd really like to put this inside the light if I could. I don't know. But anyhow, I'm going to go ahead and do the exact same thing. I took my tools out of my pocket. Oh gosh. Alright. I'm going to do the exact same thing I already did. Again, strip the wire. This will cut your finger if you slip, so don't slip. This, wow, that was wild. This, what the heck? This knife is actually my dad's. He left it to me when he passed. So I'd say this knife is probably as old as I am. Works great though. It's got a little crook on it, if you can see that. That makes it better to strip wires with. And he was an electrician, so that's what he did. So yes, things like this I know better, okay? I'm not going to lie to you. This is definitely a don't do it this way. That should be inside the light here. But because it's against metal, I don't feel there's any danger. I'll say that famous last words, hopefully not. But the rest of the wiring in this place is so sketchy, I'm not I'm afraid if I did it right, it would just burn the rest of the place down. Maybe not so funny. But anyway, yeah, don't do this. This needs to be inside the light, and this light really is supposed to have a cover. But unfortunately, I'm just going to follow suit with the guy that actually did this mess. Alright, now, not hot. This is your hot. Your black is always your hot lead. Because this is already wired into a switch, it's just going to be as simple as 1, 2, 3. Oops. Well, maybe not quite that simple. I've got to hook it in over here. I'm going to do a loop so that I can come in here in the same angles. There we go. Oh, that's just wonderful. Can't hardly tell what color it is. It's so dirty. All right. There's all 3 of those black ones. Don't get the white one mixed up in there. And push them on. Twist it up. I'll have you know that I am standing in an awkward position because I was too lazy to move these boxes out of my way. Just twist these up nice and tight like I told you. Especially being where it is right now. You don't want any wires exposed whatsoever. I think we're good on that one. And we're just going to pull these 2 together, like so. These 3 together, like so. The third wires are going into, oh man, that's bad. I had that ground wire hooked up in there. That actually wouldn't hurt because this is a neutral wire, and the neutral wire, I don't even have this one in there. Duh. The neutral wire is a ground as well. So technically you could put that in there, but again, that's not the right way to do things. So don't do that. Neutral can go either way, and this is by no means a video on proper electrical connections by any means. Just showing you a functional way to hook lights up if you have a way. And like I said, you don't have to run it all the way to the box. If you have a light, this was the only light on that switch, going to its own circuit. So I had plenty of circuit left to run it. You don't want to run too many lights. You could probably run this whole shop on a 20 amp circuit. But, again, this is a ground. So there we go. And I can actually just ground it to the building. So, and they don't have a ground coming out of this particular light, which is, again, brilliant. Nope, not really. So, again, don't do this. don't do this. It shows you how to do it right, but do it inside the light. And then there's, see this little screw right here? That's where your ground would go. And since this light doesn't have one, it'd be a waste of time for me to put one. But I do have this situation. In fact, I just made it better because this is grounded in another light, and so that gives me a little bit better. I'll probably put a staple right there just for fun. Go ahead and put a staple in there, make it a little better. Make it almost look like I know what I was doing. Yep, probably not. There we go. That makes it a little better. Maybe not. But anyway, that's kind of it. Don't do that. Put it here. But other than that, we should be able to put some light bulbs in here and have light. Well, here's the moment of truth. I've only got one hooked up. I've got them all hooked up, but I've only got bulbs in one. But before I go ahead and run all the bulbs, I'm going to test on this one. And that will get the point across for you all. You know, when I show you some other videos, you'll notice how much lighter it is in here after that. But I'm just going to finish this one and get ready to turn it on. Now, understand that I got these lights for free. We replaced them in a place I used to work, and they let me have them because we were going to throw them away. So I don't know if the ballasts are any good. Some are, some aren't. The bulbs, same thing. These were in that building. We pulled them out. They've been sitting in this shop for years. They sat up against a wall for years, and then I finally hung them probably 2 years ago, and now I just finally hooked some of them up. So they may work, may not. If they don't work, I don't know if it's a ballast or if it's a bulb, but we're going to try it anyway. So here's the moment of truth. I'm going to turn the light on, switch, and let's see what happens. Houston, we have ignition. That's not a good sign. Oh! And there we go. Wow, it took a little while. But you got to figure that light hasn't been on probably in 5 or 10 years. Probably, gosh. Yeah, probably 7 or 8 years. Well, yeah, probably 8 years at least. Because I've actually not worked there in, yeah, let's see, 5, 6, 7 years. So, and I took them out when I worked there, so probably 8 or 9 years that it's been since that light has ever lit. So, there you go, folks. It worked. I'm going to go ahead and throw the rest of the bulbs in and, well, see what happens. I don't have to shut the light off. I can leave that one on to plug the other bulbs in. But let's go ahead and plug the other bulbs in and see what happens. Well, it's definitely a lot brighter in here now. Woohoo! I still have that side of the shop to do. Still a little dark. Well, one light's broken over here, but it's a little dark in that corner. And a little bit dark in that corner. But we're working on that. We'll get the rest of these put in another day. Probably not going to video that since I already videoed this one. But I'm pretty happy with the results. I got done exactly how much I wanted to get done. So that's all good. Basically, yeah. That's the end of this video. So if you liked it, I know, that one hack. I know. Shame on me, right? Maybe I shouldn't even show you all. I'll show you. Can't just show the good stuff. You got to show the, the redneck rigs you do sometimes too. Just to show people that, hey, you ain't the only one. But yeah, don't do that. But it's nice that y'all watched. I appreciate it. If you enjoyed this, please do me a favor and hit the like button. And most of all, subscribe, share it with your friends. See ya.